Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Blue Bunny, aka Mark, and he wants to know which house guests have surprised me, one in a good way and one in a bad way. So, surprised me in a good way, I would say Godfrey, because I thought for sure that he was going to be out early. He was in trouble even that first week. It seemed like a lot of people wanted him out, and he managed to scrape by, and he's been in some tricky situations a few times throughout the season, and he's still here, and he's really entertaining and funny. Surprised me in a bad way? Jordan. He freaking blew it. He had it all set up. He volunteered to be a pawn through the power veto competition and got voted out. First member of the jury. He really blew it. Alright, so let me know who you guys are surprised by in a good way and a bad way in the comments. Alright. So, back in the house. Last night, Sarah and Ashley were having a game chat, and Sarah was like, you know what, Ashley, you and Peely are both in showmances, but I have to say, like, you're a good game player, because you're not, like, all up Zach's butt or whatever. Like, you're playing your own game, whereas Peely, so Ashley was just like, yeah, I know. So then Sarah was telling Ashley, like, you need to work on Peely, because if it came down to choosing between you and Kevin, she's gonna go with Kevin. And Ashley's like, I know. So then they agree, like, yeah, I have your back, and they want to take out Bobby and Bruno next, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna stick together, girl power, blah, 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 blah. So then Ashley takes this information to Zach and freaking sells Sarah out. Can I just mention too that Zach is walking around like Rocky from Rocky Horror Picture Show in his French maid costume, but then the heels are what I'm talking about, because he's just like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Ashley's just like, yeah, Sarah's like pushing for this whole feminist thing, and like the girls have this unspoken bond where they're not going to go against each other. So Zach is like, oh, I knew it. So then Bruno walks in, they tell him about it, and Bruno's just like, I told you, Sarah's poison. That's like his quote. Like, he should get t-shirts that say that. So Sarah and Willow, meanwhile, are planning for next week, and they're talking about who they're afraid of, who they want to go after. So Sarah's like, I'm afraid of Bruno, and Willow's like, I'm afraid of Kevin. So they want to backdoor one of those two, but they don't know which one. And they're also planning on having a fake fight to throw people off. What? I mean, this never works, and yet people still try over and over again. I feel like this always just brings extra unwanted attention to your alliance instead of throwing people off, which is what they're trying to do. It's not gonna work! Stop it! Alright, so Kevin and Peely spent a lot of time last night talking about what Kevin should do with the veto. It's a big decision, and he was going back and forth a lot. So he was like, maybe I should just keep nominations the same, and then if Bobby uses his secret power of veto, which doesn't exist, he'll put up Bruno in his place. So it seems like this whole secret veto thing is really throwing Kevin off, and it's kind of funny because it's all a lie. And it's really having an impact on the game, which is crazy. So Peely's like, well, Godfrey is coming after the couples, like he's made it known he's very dangerous, maybe we should put him up. And Kevin's just like, yeah, but it's not likely that Godfrey's gonna win the HOH, and it would be a really good move to split up Bobby and Bruno. They are a power duo. So it seems like Kevin's pretty much made up his mind. So he goes to Zach, and he tells him, I'm leaving the nominations the same because I'm worried that Bobby has this secret veto. So if Kevin, he tries to explain this to Zach, he's like, if I use the veto on Brittany to put up Bruno, and then Bobby uses the secret veto on himself, who am I going to put up next to Bruno? Like, that's going to anger a lot of people. He doesn't want all of that blood on his hands. So Zach is just like, fine. So then Zach goes and tells Ashley about it, and they are pissed. They don't get why Godfrey is not going up on the block when he's definitely coming after them, and he's made it known, like I've said 1,000 times. But, it just reminds me of when Zach was the HOH, and he was supposed to backdoor either Bobby or Bruno to protect Kevin, and he didn't want to do it for his selfish reasons. So, you know, it's kind of the same thing, but Kevin's wearing the shoes now. He's wearing the shoes. Because Bobby and Bruno no, sorry. Godfrey is going after Zach and Ashley out loud. I think he's going after all of them, but he's been very vocal about going after Zach and Ashley, so like, why should Kevin take him out for Zach? It's the same thing, but the opposite. So Kevin and Zach, I just want to note, we're still wearing their French maid costumes this morning. I don't know what the specifics are on that punishment because they were wearing those costumes and cleaning for a long time. So I'm not sure if they took those costumes off right before the power veto ceremony. I'm kind of hoping it was right after because it would be really funny to see them wearing it for the POV ceremony. So speaking of, they had the power veto ceremony this morning and Kevin did not use the power veto, which means that Brittany and Bobby are up on the block still. I cannot wait to see Bobby's reaction to this whole thing because he had to explain that he doesn't have the secret power veto or else he would have used it. So it sounds like it was hilarious. They were saying that Bobby like flipped the double birds at everyone and like threw half of a hanger on the floor, like the top part. It was like, it's all jokes because it's like J. Sounds ridiculous and I can't wait to see it. And I just know the Big Brother announcer is going to be all like, poker player Kevin called Bobby's bluff, blah, blah, blah. You know it's coming. So anyway, Bobby knows that he's in trouble right now. Obviously, being up on the block against Brittany, he's in trouble. So he's wondering, how am I going to campaign? How am I going to do this? It's going to be really impossible to get Zach and Ashley's votes. And my Big Brother life is in the hands of Bruno, Godfrey, and Sarah right now. So he's trying to come up with a game plan. Meanwhile, most of the house guests are pretty shocked by Kevin's move. The only people who really knew about it were the diapers. So Sarah thought that Brittany was going to come off the block and Bruno was going to go up. Bruno thought that Bobby was going to go off the block and Godfrey was going to go up. So Bruno is like pretty pissed, or at least he's acting like it. I think he's pretty pissed. So he's talking to the guys and he's just like, the girls get to sit around and do nothing. They're going to go all the way to the end and it's not fair. And Bruno tells Bobby, you need to fight. Like, I need you here or I am screwed. So Bobby's just like, yeah, I will. So Bruno is talking to Zach and Godfrey and of course he's saying, oh, the girls are so poisonous. We need to get them out. He's really pushing this with Zach. And Zach is just like, oh yeah, for sure. If I win HOH next week, I'm going to nominate Sarah and Brittany. And Bruno's just like, yeah, me too. So then Bruno and Godfrey were talking later, and Godfrey was like, was Zach being serious about all that stuff, about going after Sarah and Brittany? And Bruno was just like, hell no, and neither was I. He tells Godfrey, like, he is 100% going to backdoor Zach if he wins the HOH next week. So we know where Bruno stands. I had a feeling that he was BSing Zach, but it seems like Zach might actually be falling for Bruno's anti-girl talk. It seems like it's working. Because Zach was talking to Ashley, and he was like, you know what? We should really try to keep Bruno around for as long as possible. So Ashley is just like, yeah, totally. Like, he's not coming after us. Sarah and Brittany aren't loyal, so why not keep Bruno? So I just can't believe this is happening. So then Bruno is talking to Ashley and he is starting to campaign for Bobby hardcore. So he's like, Ashley, the couples are going to have to turn on each other and it's going to happen sooner than you think. So you want to make sure you got some people in your corner, and I just want to let you know that Bobby and I are there for you. So he tells them, like, he tells Ashley, we're not coming after you, so maybe you should keep Bobby. And he's like, Kevin is the one who nominated Bobby, not you guys. So if Bobby stays, he's going to be going after Kevin. So Ashley seems like really into it. She's like, oh, how many votes do we need? Blah, 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 blah. So she's already counting the votes, and I don't understand her reasoning here. She's like, oh yeah, you're totally right. And Sarah and Brittany, I know that they're never going to put up a girl. How does that have anything to do with this argument? That should be working against Bruno's argument. If Sarah and Brittany aren't going to put up a girl, why would you want to get rid of them? You are a girl. What? Alright, I just don't understand the logic there. It just makes it seem like she's playing the game for someone else. So then Bruno is talking to Bobby. He's like, listen man, I'm putting in the work. I'm campaigning for you right now. He basically tells him, like, shut up and don't ruin this for me. Because, you know, Bobby has a tendency to say things that mess up plans. So the remaining chop shops Chop Shoppers, Chop Shop members find themselves all together around the hot tub, and Bobby is just like, I know it doesn't really mean anything anymore, but can we just do one final chop together? So they do. But it's kind of interesting because if Bobby can get those votes, I mean, I feel like he might be able to sway Willow. He could sway Zach and Ashley. You know, he's got a good chance of Bruno, obviously, so it's almost like the Chop Shop could be coming together again this week. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't think that Brittany is as safe as Kevin thinks that she is right now. I know. So it should be an interesting few days leading up to the triple eviction. So until next time, much love.